Welcome back to another episode of the Wet Gains, Wet Brains podcast. Today, Benjo and I have sort of thought about, talking about the respective fitness industries within the countries we live in. So, to get things started, Benjo, tell me what the fitness industry in the Philippines is like.
Fitness industry in the Philippines. It's okay. I think for the most part across the world, but especially like in countries like the Philippines, which is third world countries and whatnot, the supplement industry, which is I guess you could say is a part of the fitness industry. Um, they do like to tout about things that the public doesn't necessarily have too much knowledge on,
Mm-hmm.
or they know about. So we peddle our BCAAs, even though we,
Mm-hmm.
we all know the BCAAs really don't do much. Most supplement companies do that anyway. Um, and there is like not necessarily a stigma, but like people in the Philippines do tend to think that there are certain supplements that will help you get shredded faster and gain more muscle faster. Uh, like for example, when I went to a supplement shop here in the Philippines, and I asked them about like the different types of protein that they had, and they said this one protein was like faster digesting, and so this is perfect for when you like after a workout, right after a workout, you take this shit, and your muscles gonna like they're gonna pump into like nitrous mode, and they're just gonna fucking rebuild so much faster than if you didn't take this protein.
Okay.
And I was like, as a budding um, fitness connoisseur, I was like,
Connoisseur. Okay,
damn.
connoisseur.
No, okay, definitely not connoisseur, but like a fitness dude. I was like, damn, this is sick. I'm gonna buy this. Waste of money, first of all. don't buy that shit. Okay, it's horrible. Um,
What protein
but
was
that
it? What
that's
protein was it? What
it
protein?
was a it was a hydrolyzed fucking
Ah,
it,
okay.
like protein. It was I forget the name of the I forget the oh no sand nutrition fucking titanium protein. And yeah, to be fair, it really didn't leave much in my stomach. Like as soon as I drank it, like after 20, 30 minutes, like my stomach felt fine. Like if in comparison to like regular whey concentrate, I was like concentrate makes me feel a little bloated, but still, there's no difference. Like performance wise and recovery wise, you'll get the same results. But that's the supplement industry. Now talking about like working out, powerlifting in the Philippines is not really a thing. Because if you go to any shop for shoes, okay, that's one example. If you go to any shop for shoes, you cannot find squat shoes anywhere.
Mm.
You have to go like on Lazada, which is like the online shopping store that we have here in place of Amazon, and uh, they have their shoes shipped over from China. Like we don't powerlifting is not a thing here. Weightlifting, like Olympic weightlifting, bit of a thing in terms of CrossFit, but in terms of like weightlifting by Olympic weightlifting by itself, in terms of powerlifting by itself, not really much of a thing. Um, People are really focused here on like basketball,
Volleyball.
on volleyball,
Mm.
the ball sports,
The ball sports.
it's, the ball sports, like has a lot of jumping, so on and so forth,
Yeah,
and
like, so
there's
like I
nothing.
noticed like a lot of basketball shoes, tends to and volleyball shoes are like the one things that are like sold here in a lot of like shoe stores. Like even if you're looking for something more specialized, like let's say track and field cleats, the chances of you finding those in stores like is quite low. You'd have to go to somewhere else to find them.
Mhm.
Um, and like that sort of reminds me of like the thing you said about like like weightlifting shoes. Like it's not really such a big thing because I've somewhat noticed it's not something that's very accessible to people. Maybe that's just due to like the socioeconomic status that people can't really afford to go to gyms because like what it's like 4,000 something pesos a month depending on like
Yeah.
whichever gym you're going to, right? And that's not like that's just like a baseline. Like some gyms could probably charge you a lot more, just to go to, and even then, like the equipment in some of those gyms aren't to par with other gyms. Because like if you look at goals, like that's some uniform standard of how the gym should relatively look like. But even then, it's not really tailored to like if you want to be a power lifter or because they're just more for like average weightlifting capabilities. And like I don't know if it's something for you, but I've somewhat noticed that a lot more people tend to go to gyms to do like the classes or to have like a trainer. So even then their fitness goals are not to become like a bodybuilder, not to become a power lifter. It's just to like get fit or have someone to socialize with,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, of course, you've noticed that you've lived in the Philippines for a few years of your life
Yeah.
too. And even in our high school, right? Like, uh, weightlifting at the gym, relatively, no one really did that. It was more of are you good at track and field? Are you good at volleyball? Are you good at basketball? Those are the three main kind of sports that we had going on for us, or like even cross country. Those are the three main sport or four main things that we had going on for high school. Weightlift, like in comparison to the United States, like they have powerlifting clubs in their schools. They have gyms in their school. I mean, not that we didn't have a gym. It's just that we kind of late to the party, if you will.
Like it was more
Um,
of just to like obviously help you if you were in a sport, for example. So if you were doing basketball in like the later part of the year, in the beginning part of the year, you'd probably be like weightlifting or doing like things at the gym to help with your mobility or help with your cardiovascular strength and things like that, or endurance, just to like help you out with basketball instead of more just like lifting for physique wise. Um, and for me, right, like I've noticed that just some people were obviously just like lifting for the sake of lifting, not necessarily having a goal in mind. I think there are very few individuals that are like dedicated to genuinely hitting PRs or hitting like physique goals or weight goals and things like that.
yeah,
Um, yeah, and then it's fair because you obviously the sport is a bigger priority, so obviously they do things to help them get better at the sport, whether it's just like simple mobility or simple exercises to help increase strength for their sport, things like that.
yeah, yeah. And it's funny that you say that. Like, yes, powerlifting, like in terms of the gear that you not necessarily need, but like is kind of like it will really help you out in the long term. Like you said, it is relatively inaccessible to uh, the Philippines, especially because like socioeconomic status on yada yada yada. But one thing that like interestingly got like or has gotten more traction um, versus powerlifting in the Philippines is CrossFit training, which is weird to me because it implements lifts,
Mm.
the deadlift, the squat. I'm not sure about the bench. I don't think the bench
It's a lot
press.
of
But
cleans and snatches as well.
yeah, yeah, a lot of cleans and snatches. And it's weird how that gained more traction than like powerlifting by itself or Olympic weightlifting by itself. I definitely think that was a weird one. But anyway, we're here now, so I
So,
guess
like,
fucking whatever.
have you coached anyone that's like, like when the people that come to you for coaching, do they
Yeah.
normally go for like weightlifting, CrossFit? Like, what exactly are they looking forward towards, and what tends to be like demographic? Um,
All, all my clients thus far have been like general fitness or like general health. Like
mhm,
they just want to
mhm,
be healthier. They want to lose weight. It's not real. They don't really come to me for like, oh, dude, I want to increase my
mhm.
squat. I want to increase my
Yeah,
bench. They don't fucking do that.
yeah.
Yo, dude, fucking help me out
Yo,
here,
gym bro to
man.
gym bro. I need some extra pounds on my squat. What's up?
Yeah.
What's popping?
The only person who's done that is my friend Sean, but that's it.
Yeah.
He's come to me like he asked me. I'm like, oh fucking, you're stronger than me. I don't know why you're asking me, but yeah, there was that. But yeah, most of my clients they really just go to me for general fitness or like general health, and there's nothing wrong with that by any stretch of the means because in terms of nutrition in most countries, if not all countries, very like undereducated almost you could say,
Mm.
which is weird. But yeah, um, that's the Philippines, man. Like the fitness industry here is like uh, fucking supplements. If you take protein, fucking good. You're good to go. That's all you
Yeah.
need, and some
Yeah.
BCAs maybe.
I think like
Uh,
also in like supplements, it's like what they try to sell you as well. They want you to like buy things that you don't necessarily need, especially if
yeah,
you're just like an individual that's looking for just like vitamins or something. They're obviously going to try to sell you off multivitamins, all these kinds of things, oils and things like that, or other kinds of like pills that you don't necessarily need, but they're just trying to sell it off to you just to, and they're trying to make it as convincing as possible. Because I obviously like when I was golf buying protein in like my local supplement store, they'd obviously try to sell my mother a bunch of vitamins and things like that to improve like overall lifestyle. And I had to
yeah,
like pull her away and say like you don't really need those. Just have a relatively healthy diet and you should be fine.
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Like, Same thing happened to my parents too. Like my dad, at least. Like we walked into the supplement shop, and then this guy was like, "Sir, do you take fish oil?" And I'm like, "Dude, stop, man! Don't talk to my dad
Do you
about
need
this shit."
multivitamins, sir? I have
Dude,
Centrum, sir, Centrum.
yeah, this is the full spectrum multivitamins. If you take this, you're good to
Yeah,
go. Like, bro,
yeah, I know that. I know
God.
that. Something I've also had in my mind. I don't know. And this is more of a hypothesis more than anything. I noticed that like so from my experience at a Gold's Gym, right? There's obviously a lot of people that go to the gym to work out, and you obviously notice like there's a few selected individuals that are like very jacked, while there's a lot of other people that tend to be more older than us that would obviously have a training coach. And then something I always notice is that they're always there to like with a training coach to obviously like uh, just to talk, and then also like work out. But I've also noticed that like a lot of people don't know really what to do in the gym without a training coach,
Mm.
right? And I think that's a fair assumption for a lot of people, just because you'd obviously have to research a lot of things to figure out what you want to do. But I think that since obviously hiring a coach is quite expensive, I think it's only really available to the more wealthier people within like society, because it costs quite a lot to have them per session. And I
Mm.
think that you know from like the industry in the Philippines, it's more geared towards like having someone to teach you and having someone to like help you rather than figuring things out yourself. And I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily saying that's like a bad thing, but actually something I've observed from like my times at like certain gyms is that there's always going to be someone to like teach people, or some people that are willing to pay someone to teach them and things like that, because they really don't want to go through like the effort of like figuring things out themselves. And I can somewhat agree with that, because like the amount of time and research it takes to like figure out what kind of workout you want to do for yourself and your body goals, and what kind of like food you should be eating, and what kind of macros you should be having, and how much cardio you should be doing, and how to like stretch and focus on your mobility, and what kind of exercises. That takes quite a lot of time and effort. And if you are a relatively busy person, you'd obviously want someone to do that kind of stuff for you, because why wouldn't you have them do that for you? They're obviously relatively well trained in those kind of areas, because they obviously went to school for them, or went to school for that, or did courses to learn a lot of like those kind of things. So you'd obviously have to pay an expert to figure those things out for you, rather than you doing it for yourself.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like it's people do will pay a good amount of money to hire a coach, to hire a trainer, because like you said, they don't want to go through the effort of having to research about the things that they need or want to do for their body.
Mm,
Um, and there's no problem with that at all. Like that's where the fitness industry gets their money from, is from clients, people who are willing to pay other people to teach them certain things. It gets a little iffy though when they start implementing. They start talking about supplements. They start talking about because Anytime Fitness here in the Philippines, they have this like body fat percentage reader, and we all know the the possible like errors, like the give and take. It could be way off. It could be spot on. Who knows?
mm,
You never
mm,
really know. And they push for that. Like they push for that in addition with your membership. Like, oh, with your membership you get free body fat percentage checking, and you get this and that. Not that that would necessarily help, because the thing is that like most people, as soon as they get on a membership, they probably won't use it for that long anyway, because they end up finding out it's a little too hard, a little too difficult. And the fitness industry here in the Philippines, especially, I think that's something that kind of is repeatedly seen as like, oh, okay, if you get these few freebies that actually not necessarily that won't have an impact on
mm.
your body. And it's like, okay, cool. I mean, you don't realize that when you're getting the membership initially. You're like, oh fuck, I get this shit, dude, sick.
Yeah,
I can fucking do this now and then do that. And sure, it's motivation initially, but it's a question of how long will that motivation last. So,
that's true.
you
That's
know,
true. Something I've also noticed, right, is like um, something like that I've personally noticed and sort of differentiated between like Australia and the Philippines. Obviously, if you live in the Philippines, there's not quite a large availability of like public spaces or public parks, right? Um, there's a lot of like commercial centers, like places to go shopping and things like that. But and like in those commercial centers, there's obviously can be gyms and things like that, but at the same time, there's no like publicly funded areas to work out in, right? I've noticed here in Australia, right, that there's a large amount of parks that are quite like really accessible. So I live right next to a park, and you can go work out there if you want. Like it's all free. Like you don't have to do shit. You have to pay to enter or anything like that. I think it's technically covered by taxes one way or the other, but you can go to the park, right? There's a playground and there's like some basic gym equipment, right? But I go to a park that's like slightly a bit farther off, but it has like pull-up bars, monkey bars, like climbing bars that you can use to like do dips. It's like a sit-up area, and then it's like a stabilization bar. And with that, it was able to help me, like start exercising a lot more in like different areas of calisthenics, right? Like if you're obviously doing home workouts, there's a limitation of what you can do when it comes to like home workouts. Because like if you want to do things like rows, it's quite hard without certain weights or having to like pull yourself on some furniture. And if you want to do pull-ups, it's basically impossible unless you have like a pull-up bar, and you don't really need to install a pull-up bar because obviously some of them you have to drill into the walls. So like when I finally had access to a pull-up bar, I'm like, wow, this is great, right? And I've had access to like different heights of bars to like do certain different elevations of push-ups. And then I had like these poles where I can hang up like my gymnastic rings to like do gymnastic exercises. And I've noticed from my time there that there's like a lot more outdoor kind of classes, like people that come together with like a fitness instructor to train in the outdoors to do pull-ups or like have their own rings and do similar things that I was doing. Or like outdoor, there's people that do like a lot of fighting, like a lot of boxing, where they hang up the bag on a tree and then people will come and box and do cardio. Or people that like come together and they do like yoga outside. And I've somewhat realized that you don't really see a lot of that in the Philippines, mainly because like a lot of them are relatively like classes in a gym, or just because people don't have access to those kind of public areas to do those kind of things, and so that some people aren't able to afford these kind of things as well. So the fitness industry in Australia is more reliant on like people coming to like these communal kind of classes, and it's it obviously allows you to make friends because you're obviously doing the same thing, and you have a shared interest of fitness in mind. But also there's a lot of catering to different kind of niches. So there's like within the city in itself, there's like a rock climbing gym that I walk past. There are some fighting instructors that teach you different kinds of martial arts as well. So there's boxing, there's taekwondo, there's judo. I think there's even Muay Thai. I'm not so sure about that.
Mm.
That I've seen when I'm walking in like the various public parks, because they hang around like punching bags and kicking bags and have like the fighting equipment as well. And then there's even just like exercise groups around different areas. So in my mind, the big difference is you don't necessarily have to go to a gym to get like fit. You can obviously join one of these outdoor groups, or you can even just work out by yourself in like the public equipment that they have here. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think because they provide an avenue for you to even get fit, without even having to technically pay for things. Because a lot of like the some of like the public parks, they have like very rudimentary like exercise equipment, and that allows people that that don't really have to like pay for it, like a gym like so like it's basically free if you're not paying taxes, which I don't fucking pay whatsoever. um Mainly just because like it's out there and available for everyone's use, and I think that's a really good thing, because no matter who you are, like obviously you just need to have access to that park. You can still be able to work out regardless of like your socioeconomic status, which I think is a relatively good thing. Just because it's the ability to promote fitness, and I don't know, there's something about public parks as well, which is like the ability to work out there, so somewhat elevates my mood just because of like the greenery, and it's something different from the usual drastic gray of the city. Just because like there's obviously a difference in environment. Just because you feel more like some. I don't know if I'm coming off as a fucking hippie when I'm saying this, but it's more of like there's something really nice about being able to work out in a park. Just because like it's just a great like break from the usual concrete and steel of like the city, I suppose.
No, that's totally fair. Yeah, that's I didn't even know Australia had that. I know that the United States definitely has like some open gyms
Mm,
like in parks and whatnot. Like there's that Venice Beach gym that's just like right in the open. And you can bench there, you can squat there or whatever. But not the all the shit's rusty there, but it's I guess it's fine.
yeah.
You get to work out for free. Yeah, that's crazy how like those kinds of parks are available for free to the public. Like in the Philippines, what do we have for free? You can run on the ground for free.
But
You
like
can
the thing
do
is
that.
when you're like running on the ground for free, right? You're obviously running on pavement, right? And I noticed that when I
Yeah,
run on pavement, it sort of hurts my knees due to like the
yeah.
impact because your body's not built to run on like such firm surfaces.
Mm.
Um, and okay, this is gonna make me sound weird, but when I went barefoot in a park or when I was walking, because like the little gym I has like wood chips on the ground, so when if you fall or anything like that, the wood chips don't hurt as like a playground like texture or like actual
Yeah.
cement. So it feels relatively like natural because like it's uneven surfaces. It doesn't feel like as like hard as concrete. But even like running on grass is a very eye-opening experience. Mainly just because like it's just feels unnatural despite it being quite natural.
Mm.
And it sort of led me to have like this appreciation for like the public spaces that are available for free. Just because like I said, you don't have to pay for them, and they're quite available for everyone's use, and they're meant to be for like everyone's use as well. Cause like it's a shared space. There's like a playground next door, which I can like go to if I really feel like playing there, but I don't want to scare the kids. I don't, yeah,
That's fair.
that's true. But like yeah, like even like when running around, you can run around in the park. There's like you can run on the grass or you can run on like the paved road. And it makes no difference because whatever choice you want to do, you can do. Like the amount of times I see just people just practicing yoga or practicing like certain calisthenic movements in the park is like something quite unusual. Just because like I don't know, I would normally be practicing those moves at home rather than like in somewhere like public. So like it was a bit of like a culture shock for me just because I'm really not used to just seeing people work out, in public more than anything, just because like these public spaces like weren't really present in the Philippines. It's all private areas or just like shopping malls that are like more public than anything.
Yeah, that's fair. Like that's great because like in Australia, like you'll see those parks, like you said, they're meant for everyone. You'll see like kids, you'll see people of the older ages, you'll see people such as yourself who
Mm,
are
mm.
like growing up. Like you'll all see them working out at the park one way or another. Here in the Philippines, like it's the most you'll see from a kid is like him running around with a towel in his shirt because his parents don't want him to sweat his ass off.
Yeah, like yeah, the towel right there. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um, there is that, but yeah, no, like it definitely sounds like the Australian, or like at least in Australia, not necessarily the fitness industry, but it definitely sounds like those with those parks in mind. It definitely sounds like fitness is a how do you say, like it's
It's
more
accessible. It's
uh,
very accessible.
it's more accessible, and like because it's more accessible, it's a little bit more promoted, so to speak,
Mm, mm.
throughout public. Um, like I didn't even realize like a gym with all the weights and stuff really existed until I was like maybe 6 or 7 years old,
Mm.
and I was like, oh, what the fuck is that? Or like I didn't even know that was a thing. Here, because in the Philippines, you don't really get to see those unless you're actually inside one of them.
Yeah.
In like a mall, or like in our school, our old gym with all the weight equipment was on the second floor inside a gymnasium, not like a basketball gym.
Like a court.
It was
It
on
was
the
like the court was
yeah
here, and then like you had to take stairs at the back. just to like get to like the gym, and it was like really small and secluded.
Yeah, like I didn't even know what the fuck that shit was. I thought it was like some sort of dungeon or whatever, but it
Mm.
turns out it's just where people, work out and shit. So yeah, definitely sounds like Australia has a
Well, like
more
I'm not
invested in
sure
fitness
like
industry.
if it's Australia as a whole, but like from my experience in Melbourne, right?
Mm.
I do think that there are some places in Australia that follow this kind of a similar route in which they promote like public fitness. Because like you'll see elderly people going out for walks, people taking out their dogs, kids playing in the playground, fitness classes taking like doing it outside. And I think I've noticed like there's not a really big reliance on gyms. So you don't have to go to a gym membership to get these kind of classes. You can if you want to, but you can obviously book a class and it'll take you outside. You do like body weight exercises outside, and even then, there's a lot of gyms tailored to certain things and activities that you want to do. So there's rock climbing gyms. There's a rock climbing gym, right? There's fighting gyms, and like there's weightlifting gyms, there's powerlifting gyms, like within like the Melbourne greater area, like including the city and like the more suburb areas. Like there's powerlifting areas that you can go to, like specialized gyms just for powerlifting, specialized gyms for CrossFit, specialized gyms for fighting, specialized gyms for rock climbing. Um, Anything under the sun, really. Anything like whatever kind of fitness activity you desire, there's probably a gym or a class or something tailored for you. And I think when it comes to the Philippines, if you obviously want to take like um, fighting classes or something like that, you'd obviously have to get a private trainer, and that private trainer would obviously either take you to a gym or take you somewhere else, like maybe like indoors inside of your house or some other place, and then set up the equipment, and then you just have like a one-on-one session or maybe like a two-on-one session with him.
Yeah.
And I think that's for me. That's something I've noticed is like what's fundamentally different is just like that kind of availability of certain fitness activities between like the Philippines and Australia. And I don't know if necessarily there's like that kind of market for other kinds of like um, fitness activities that are available to a lot of like Filipinos, just because like there's obviously the difference in wealth, which is one thing that you have to acknowledge. Because if you're obviously on the lower end of the socioeconomic ladder, you can't afford to be spending money on like these kind of classes because you have other things to worry about. While in like
Right.
Australia, there's a lot more people that have more disposable income that tend to be more middle class, and they're able to spend money on these kinds of things just because like why not?
Yeah.
And so I think like there's these kind of drastic impacts that are like quite significant between like the various fitness industries within these two respective countries. And technically, you can write a fucking paper on this if you want to, but I don't know why you'd want to.
You could.
You very well
Yeah.
could. If any IB students are listening and they're taking sports
If
side,
only
they
they were.
can they can definitely write their EE sports side essay on this. I think they can. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
But I
absolutely.
don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe business, but I don't know.
Business might be a better choice. I feel like sports science, they focus more on the sciencey stuff, definitely not the socioeconomic status
True, true. Might be
of
business
certain
or
countries.
geography.
Or geography, there's that too, yeah. But yeah, I think one thing that we can agree on as a fitness tree, holy shit,
Fitness
as the
tree.
fitness industry as a whole, like no matter what country you're in, is that recovery is extremely fucking underrated in any country you go to, in my
True,
opinion, because
true.
they always push for you, they always advocate for you to work harder. You gotta work out this many times a day, this many times during the week, and the existence of like gyms and the advertisements that the gyms have towards the people is that you really just got to work hard to get what you want. Obviously, there are some advertisements out there that say if you take this one magic thing, then you're fucking gonna lose a shit ton of fat. Everybody knows that shit's fucking whack. But yeah, as I was saying, recovery is extremely underrated. Like you'll go into a gym, but you'll never really hear them say like, "Oh, make sure you stretch before doing this. Make sure you stretch after doing this." Here, actually, the trainers don't necessarily recommend this either. They don't recommend places where you can go to get massages, which would be amazing, by the way, if they could recommend those.
Mm.
First of all, places where you can get physical therapists from. Maybe there are some out there, but for the most part, for commercial gyms especially, like you will not find people there to promote recovery nearly to the extent that they really should be, which is interesting to me. So I did. It's fucked.
Well, I think it's sort of just thought like I think okay, this is my kind of theory. I don't have any evidence to back it by, but it's just what I sort of think. It's just that the lack of emphasis of recovery and the continued idea that you have to constantly keep working and working and working and working, um, it sort of leads to a lot of burnout to a lot of individuals that want to get fit. And then these individuals that want to get fit are just burnt out completely and they sort of stop or give up just because like they obviously want to get fit but they try so hard within like the first 2 weeks and get really tired, they get lazy and because like obviously they push themselves to quite an extreme in such a short amount of time, right? And I don't think that's a necessarily fair representation of how you should be working out. um because like if you go like 5 days a week of gym for 2 weeks and you sort of like don't stretch, don't cool down, don't give your body the necessary rest, don't eat right, you're obviously going to get burnt out because you think like there's no progress. I'm tired all the time. I'm hungry all the time. I feel like shit all the time. Like those kind of ideas and those kinds of feelings, they're obviously not normal. Like you shouldn't be feeling tired all the time. You shouldn't feel hungry all the time unless you're cutting. And you shouldn't feel like shit all the time if you're not doing anything like correctly. And because like you said, the lack of emphasis of like recovery, rest, cool down, stretching, getting massages, going to see a physiotherapist to help things out, due to the lack of doing that, people will just burn out and just give up and like, oh, next year I'll work out again.
Yeah.
And
Sorry, that's
it's
funny.
okay. And from that I sort of feel like if maybe they took recovery a lot more seriously, if they took that into consideration more and they took that and planned that accordingly, right? Like after a hard day of work, you have like a day of recovery where you sleep in more, you have healthier food and things like that. You don't starve yourself. Then, obviously with that, people aren't more likely to burn out of the gym. And for that, I feel like if they actually did that more, a lot more people would actively make a better attempt at like bettering themselves and becoming healthier. But,
Yeah.
since there's the lack of emphasis and knowledge when it comes to the idea of recovery, and they just like, oh, recovery day, blah blah blah, this, blah blah, that, don't they don't take it as seriously as they should, like take it like a day at the gym. I think that's like a really big downside, because you make all your gains and your progress and growth on a recovery day, not on the day where you work out. And I think that's something people fail to realize, because
Yeah, that's
you don't get stronger on the day you work out. You get stronger on the day after.
if only that was how it worked, dude. Fucking, you get stronger the day you work out. My God, everybody would be the
Everyone would be
Hulk, dude.
fucking jacked if they like work out one day, they're fucking strong on that same day. No. You get
Yeah.
stronger the day after because that's when your body gets time to repair all the damage you've done to it. And because of like that extra stimulus or like that stimulus towards your body will obviously realize that it has to adapt to that. So it will adapt to that stimulus and get stronger from like that day. And then so when you do it, like when you work out the next day, it's more resistant, to which you have to apply more stimulus or like stronger stimulus, and then not complete the cycle until you reach a plateau or reach something else. And it's so unfortunate that they think like you have to keep working out all the time and you don't take breaks, but your body needs breaks to grow. That it doesn't just happen to be like you have one pump session and you think you can take on the world. No. And I don't know. I think that's something that needs to be more emphasized in the fitness industry. Is like you said, just the emphasis on recovery and whatever that recovery may be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, recovery is just so like extremely underrated. It's so weird. Like if you go to your friend that you, or let's say you have a gym buddy, there's a very, very, very high chance that if you talk to him about the gym and working out, he's just probably gonna talk to you about like the best workout he knows. Like, dude, you gotta fucking try this shit, dude. You're gonna feel the burn. You know, you're gonna feel that burn. You're just gonna grow. You're gonna grow so hard after this. And it's just like, okay, what if I can't sleep tonight though? Like, will
Uh,
I still grow?
Honestly, that I think that was like me in high school. Just so adamant on the fact that like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Work out five
Yeah.
days a week, baby. Monday, International Chest Day. You know I'm fucking hitting chest. Tuesday, I want to hit chest again, hitting chest. Wednesday, all right, let's hit back this time. Do like 2 sets of back and then hit chest. I'm like I
Yeah.
had no idea or what's like whatever semblance of like what rest was just because like gotta hit some fucking body part. I was doing the bro split, and then like obviously like the progress I tried to get in high school is nothing to the progress I had now. Dude, like holy fuck, I've seen more gains working out 3 days a week than working out fucking 5 days a week, and it's like I don't know. It's just another image wedding,
Sorry, dude.
and
I might just turn this off in a bit.
anyway, I it's something for someone for people to realize that you don't have to be working out 5 days a week or 4 days a week. You can work out 3 or 2, but you'll still see a lot more progress than what you normally see. Just depending if you make your like workouts challenging enough and have like the appropriate rest and recovery. You'll obviously see your gains or progress at just a pace that depending on how you want to take them. And I don't know, I have a bigger appreciation for rest now because and well a bigger appreciation for fitness as a whole, just because of like the current situation I'm in and how I'm very like I don't want to say blessed but very fortunate because um I know people can't have these kind of access to like these kind of public spaces or these kinds of like um physical fitness opportunities. So I feel like I'm very fortunate to be able to like, although I do not partake in it, like those classes, I feel very fortunate to have like these public spaces, right? Even though some people aren't.
Yeah.
But regardless of that, I think even if you don't have access to certain spaces like that, there is still the possibility of you still working out. Like bodyweight exercises still exist. You don't need much, right? There's still really no excuse I think if you're able to watch this kind of video and feel lazy, you still have like you still have push-ups, squats, um, glute bridges. You can even just fill up a bag and do rows with them, or even do like snow angels with them. So even then, you technically have no excuse unless you're not able to watch it, but like you still have no excuse to like not work out, regardless of whatever you do. You can even go running. So even then, like everyone still has the possibility of working out. Like I think there's this one Filipino YouTuber where he built his own gym, right? It's like poor Filipino YouTuber, something like that, right? He built his own
Yeah.
gym, works out there, has a very simple lifestyle. He lives in a fucking where does he live? Like it's definitely a shanty town, something like that.
Okay, for sure.
He lives there, right? And like it's not something big. He literally built a small gym out of cement and concrete, right? Concrete and like metal bars and
Pipes, metal
pipes.
bars. Yeah.
Like he built a lat pull down machine. He built his own
Yeah.
dumbbells, barbells, and things like that. But he still worked out, and he's pretty jacked. Eating
He's pretty
rice and,
jacked.
and like chicken breast and some tilapia every now and then, and like very basic staple Filipino foods. Like he's still able to like work out and get pretty jacked. And that
Yeah.
was really inspiring for me because he went from like no gym equipment and built his own to like, oh wow, fuck, that's so bright. Uh,
Sorry,
wow, so harsh.
I'm fucking done with this camera.
And
Sorry,
yeah,
go on.
and then even then he was still able to do a lot with himself, even though he wasn't in the best socioeconomic situation to do so. And I think like a somewhat good message from that is like no matter what kind of position you're in as a person, you're still able to do something regardless of where you are. Um, and in reality, all it takes for you as a person is just whether or not you want to be able to put research into the exercises and what kind of exercises you want to do and what kind of your fitness goals you want to obviously have. And Yeah, really, that's all I have to say for it. Just there's no excuse, really. Well,
Absolutely.
it obviously depends, right? It's all a depends kind of basis, but at the same time, like you can still start with something small. It doesn't have to be like something big in the very get go. But that's just me.
No, yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'd be unfortunate if like some dudes just like he just has like some medical condition and you say you have no excuse
You
and
have
like you
no
just
excuse. I don't give a shit if you're missing both your legs. You can still do your upper body right now. Let's go.
yeah, come on, you can still bench you put now. But yeah, that just be completely unfortunate.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Hopefully, is they understand. But yeah.
they hopefully they understand. Hopefully they have ears and shit. But what's it called? Like yeah, sometimes in the fitness industry, especially in third world countries, like it'll seem like information and knowledge is locked behind trainers and locked behind these supplement companies that seem to know everything that seemingly
Mm.
have the magic supplement to help you burn fat to help you gain muscle, but it's not, it really isn't. It's a really simple search on Google
It really
and
is. It
on you
really is.
it really is, right? And like YouTube especially, like you've you have your fair share of fitness YouTubers that you
I
follow,
do. I
right?
do.
Who do you follow, for example? Actually,
So out of the top of my head, I follow Omar Isuf, Buff Dudes, Will Tennyson, Greg Doucette, uh, Bioneer, Shredded Sports
mm,
Psy.
yeah,
Um, I think that's all from the top of my head. I think that's all I remember right now. I could have more, but I don't remember them right now.
right.
Um,
And those are great YouTubers, by the
there's
way.
such a variety because Bioneer, Shredded Sports are obviously looking at the more sciencey kind of like more in like the science of things like science of cardio, science of losing fat, sciences of working on like stretches, mobility, and things like that. Um, there's a lot more other like YouTubers that are just like basic day to day kind of things. Um, I also follow Fitness FAQ, which is like an Australian YouTuber that does a lot of calisthenics kind of thing. So if you're looking into calisthenics, he's a great guy to look into. Um, I have some more. Jeremy Ether as well. He does a lot of
Yes.
things with regarding mobility, muscle growth, fat loss, certain key movements and things like that. In which, like, if you want to take in consideration, but like I said, um, the whole array of YouTubers that you could follow or pick from is like quite a lot. So depending on whatever form of fitness you want to do, whether it may be running, calisthenics, weightlifting, powerlifting, bodybuilding, anything under the sun, you can find it on YouTube. And if you cannot find whatever ability or thing you want to find on YouTube, then either you're lying or whatever fitness you're doing is probably so underground that it's probably
Yeah.
not on YouTube. And I doubt that.
Yeah.
I doubt that so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. Fuck all the liars watching
Yeah,
us right now.
fuck you,
By the way.
fucking lie. You're just lazy,
Piece of
lazy,
shit.
lazy, lazy.
Oh my god. No, absolutely.
Yeah. Like what
Yeah.
fitness YouTubers do you follow?
I actually follow this almost the same people. I also follow
Yeah.
Jeff Nippard,
Oh yeah,
and
Jeff Nippert is good.
I do follow some fitness influencers, but that's only because some of their videos are quite hype, and that helps. It gives me some
Mm.
motivation for the gym. But when it comes to information, the YouTubers that you listed, in addition to Jeff Nippard, like they're all great. They all have the information that we need, and all the information that we could ever want, really,
Mm.
in terms of calisthenics, in terms of weightlifting, in terms of just exercising in general. Um, and you brought up actually an interesting point about um, underground exercise, underground fitness. Um, there are definitely some exercise, or not exercise, but types of training that are definitely much more like they have their own niche, so to speak. Like when we had Chris on, for example,
Mm.
he had the movement thing. Um, movement in general, it's like calisthenics, generally speaking, dancing and whatnot. But movement is like a combination of all of that, and movement has its own training discipline
Yeah, yeah.
that has its own niche, essentially. But that's not to say you can't find anything on that. It's
No, no,
growing
no.
for
Like
sure.
if you remember from Chris's episode, he was talking a lot of like animal kind of movements for his like very beginning, like how he learned how to do these kind of movements. Like even searching up primal movements on YouTube, there will be plenty of videos that show you how to do the very rudimentary and basic forms of certain primal movements that allow you to sort of transition into more complex kind of movements, right? And even then, you can search up like Conor McGregor's coach on how what he does for like these kind of like movements as well, because that sort of incorporates the same kind of movements that Chris does. And even then, you can watch Chris, right? Like he does these
Yeah.
movements as well. So if you're gonna tell me that you can't find these kind of movements, I really doubt it, because you'll practically find almost anything you need fitness wise on YouTube. Obviously the views will be like very minimal, but what do you expect of like underground or like not known things?
Yeah. Yeah. And there's a reason why there are YouTubers that have content based on this type of thing, because or these types of things, because simply because they're just not a lot of people know about them. Like going through school, especially, I didn't even realize how important nutrition was, or how I didn't even know about the basic kind of macronutrients about like carbohydrates, protein, and fats.
Hmm.
I really only got to learn about them after I graduated, and I did my own research,
Yeah,
which is weird because you would think that in an educational facility, especially like in an international school, like goddamn, you'd fucking at least learn about nutrition. You would if you took up a sports science class, but then again, why do you need to take up a sports science class to learn about the basics of nutrition? I feel
yeah,
like that's something that could definitely be taught
yeah,
more.
yeah. I do agree that there's as much as like there's an emphasis for like playing sports, you don't really understand a lot of things that are necessary for your body to function during sports, whether it's like the right kind of nutrition, right kind of training, mobility, maintenance for a lot of body parts when you're using like sports, like a lot of like, to help prevent knee injuries, ankle injuries, shoulder injuries, wrist injuries, any kind of fucking injuries, pulling muscles and things like that, because a lot of those things are technically very avoidable. It just obviously depends on like the environment that allows you to understand how these kind of things or events are like quite avoidable. Um, and obviously, uh, to learn about these kind of things, it sucks that you have to do like sports sci to like obviously
Yeah.
understand a lot of like fundamentals and things about your body and how it functions, how it moves, how it operates. But it's I think that's what you can say for a lot of schools these days. Just like the inability or like how the lack of classes or things like that to like teach you to understand your body and yourself a lot more physically and mentally.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's definitely really weird. Like you ask a girl from our high school, like, "Oh shit, you lost a lot of weight. What have you been doing?" They're gonna hit you with, "Oh, I'm on keto. I'm on the paleo diet." Like, goddamn, you
Nah,
gotta eat all your macros. Come on, bro. Like, damn.
from like my fair share, I've done keto. I've lost weight off keto. I'll be honest, I've lost weight,
Yeah.
but man, like my sugar cravings have increased tenfold from there. Like I just stuffed so much fucking meat and fat down my face just so like I can tolerate like the lack of sugar and lack of carbs. Like oh my god, if
Yeah.
you like offered me rice, I would say no, but inside my brain I'd kill you over the bowl. I would definitely just kill you for that fucking bowl of rice. But I'm just like, oh no, I'm on a keto diet. I can't have rice. I'm sorry.
Oh my
But
god,
in reality,
dude,
I'd fucking strangle you for that bowl of rice. I'd strangle you. Holy fuck. And like,
yeah, it's like to the
it's
point.
a discipline. It's
Yeah.
a discipline. Like, yeah, you're cutting down on sugars, but like maybe all that sugar was the reason why you were, a bit overweight, or like yeah, you found it hard to lose weight because like you're eating like Dairy Queen every day, or you're eating like a lot of sugary things every day, or you just had like unnecessary carbs when you didn't need to. And then like obviously when you swap to keto, you're reducing a lot of the carbs. So you're reducing like the fruit soda, like the fruit drinks, the sodas, and all that to like obviously be in ketosis. Then you're eating a lot more fats. Um, and yeah, like it's all about like just understanding how your body functions, and it's really just all about research. Like I don't know how much Benjo and I can fucking emphasize it. It's all about your fucking research.
Yeah, boys, come on, do your fucking research. God
Like I
damn
swear
it,
to
dude.
God, right? You obviously we're obviously like okay. I'm not getting mad at like whoever's listening, but at the same time, like
I am.
if you if you're trying to like change your life, or you're trying to lose weight or things like that, you just can't expect things to happen in like a oh wow I'm gonna be skinny. No, it's gonna take months. Trust me. Like if you starve yourself, the amount of progress you'll get will be insane. But that's you starving
Yeah.
yourself, right? You're not gonna feel happy about starving yourself.
Yeah.
And if you starve yourself and then you go back to your normal diet or whatever you were had as your diet, you're obviously gonna balloon back up again. It's all about how many calories in, calories out, how much sugar you're having, eating more filling meals, going out for walks, standing up instead of sitting down. Like those kinds of things help you burn more calories, help you lose weight, and it's something for people to consider. Like, you don't have to drastically change your lifestyle. Like, oh, I can't sit down anymore. I always have to be active. I always have to be moving. Can't eat this. Can't eat that. Like, it doesn't have to be that way. You can still enjoy the pleasures you had in life. It's just more like be more conscious of things, right? If you're gonna eat an entire chocolate bar in one day, then maybe you don't eat as much on the next couple days to compensate for it. It doesn't have to be like the very extremes, right? Like it's like the fitness industry. You don't have to have a coach. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You can obviously do things yourself. Don't feel like you're limited. It's very accessible, more than you ever think with like the internet.
Yeah, I'm not saying, but I'm not dissing those who are on the fucking keto diet. By the way, if that shit, like, yeah, okay, I've done the keto diet before. Like, I've lost weight for sure.
Mm.
But the thing is, it's just unsustainable in the sense that you're ridding yourself of one whole macronutrient,
Yeah,
which may not
yeah,
seem, yeah, which like when saying it in words may not seem like a big deal, but like in terms of like physiological on a physiological level, like it's pretty, it's a little bit detrimental because I mean your muscles mainly use carbs, what's glycogen as a fuel source, and to rid your body of that, maybe your body goes in ketosis. The science on that still is a little iffy, but at the same time, like the fact of the matter is, if you can last longer during a workout, if your muscles are fueled with more carbs, with more glycogen, you're gonna lose more weight. You're gonna lose more energy, which you end up losing more weight that way. I mean, you get to last longer throughout your workouts.
yeah.
That's a plus plus. You get to eat carbs. You get to eat your fucking rice, and you get
Exactly,
to fucking work out
exactly.
longer. You know?
Like the one thing is right. Like if you're obviously going on keto, like you're obviously gonna have to understand that you're gonna have to suffer for like 2-ish months before you actually get into ketosis, before your brain can start using ketones instead of glucose to fuel it, right? And
Yeah.
in those 2 months, your breath is gonna smell like shit. You're gonna have headaches. You're gonna feel like you're gonna feel like absolute dog shit. And if you don't, you're fucking lying to yourself because you're having too many carbs. If you're having too many carbs and you're not into ketosis, you just reduce your fucking carb intake, but not at the level where it should be for like actual ketosis to take place. So even then, you're not doing a keto diet. You're just like reducing your overall carbs. And I don't think you
Yeah.
can obviously reduce your carbs, and it's always I think it's mostly just about reducing the processed and simple sugars more than anything. You can still enjoy like rice. Just don't eat chocolate. Don't eat sweets. Don't drink soda. Obviously, don't eat like 6 cups of rice and say like, "Oh, I'm doing fine." No, it's all about things about moderation. And
Nah, dude, I'm bulking, so
I'm
it's not
bulking. Just give me
right
like
now.
another fucking tub of rice. And
Yeah.
it's always about moderation. You don't always have to go to the very extremes to do like one thing. You can still enjoy like pleasures in life, but like differently, right? Like for a personal example of mine, I don't eat as many sweets unless it's a weekend, which is today. And I don't drink like soft drink anymore. I drink like zero sugar soft drink. And yeah, maybe the artificial might fuck up my liver in the next 20, 30 years, but I'm still waiting on the research for that. But now since there is no research and it's like okay by like scientists, I'm still gonna drink like artificial sweetened drinks just because like I want that sugary fix. So you could obviously take these kind of like approaches to when it comes to like dieting and fitness. You don't need someone more knowledgeable, aka us, to tell you what to do when you can figure out things yourself. And if things don't work for you, then that's the beauty of life finding and doing things yourself because you'll obviously find out what works for you and what doesn't work for you.
True.
Because like someone
True.
over the internet, aka us, can't tell you what to do and what not to do because well, yeah, some of it might work, but obviously everybody's body is different, and I don't know how much we can emphasize that, but like one workout does not suit everyone. There's obviously different workouts for different people for different fitness goals. And you don't need some magical like trainer to tell you, oh, you need to lose weight. No, you don't need to like have them tell that for you. You can figure that out yourself, and you can sort of create your own kind of workout. But there's nothing wrong with getting a trainer because like obviously they're more knowledgeable and they can help you do what you want. But there's your own capabilities are still something that you should consider because a lot of people tend to be more capable than they can realize. And I think, that's obviously something that you have to realize for yourself that you can do things, you can work out, you can diet, you can exercise, and you can get better. And if you say you can't, then, maybe realize there's a lot more to this. There's a lot more than, weight or something else to consider if you think you can't, because everyone's capable, unless you obviously have like some conditions which sort of help inhibit your ability to like gain or lose weight. Then yeah, you might have to consult an expert because we aren't experts. But
Nah,
from our
fuck
from
you, no
no
excuses.
excuses.
Get out of here.
But from like obviously if you're relatively normal, whatever that may be, as long as you don't have any crippling um ailments or whatever that may be that
Yep,
requires
yep.
more specialized advice, if you're relatively average like the rest of us, then you should be able to like get whatever goals you have in mind. And if you tend to, have certain conditions and things like that, there are doctors, there are specialists that can help you still achieve those goals with or without like medications and things like that to help you like do whatever you want. So no matter what, you still have the ability to do so with or without help. That's just what I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't need the help of these trainers and whatnot. And if you look, like if you're gonna go out buy supplements, uh, purchase yourself a trainer, buy him, make him your
Buy
slave or
a
whatever.
trainer.
Uh, yeah, if you're gonna do that, at least understand why you're doing it in the first place, right? So if you're gonna go and get a supplement, like let's say for example you're gonna buy some protein powder. Um, Understand first why you're getting protein powder. It's for one, protein powder is a cheaper way to get your protein needs in for the day.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to buy meats. You have protein powder by your side, and you can drink it anytime, basically anywhere, as long as you mix it with water, obviously. So if you're getting protein powder because like it speeds up muscle protein synthesis or some shit, dude, fuck off. Like that's not how it works. Uh, Protein powder, get it because maybe you're running low on funds. Get it because it's easier to get your protein needs in for the day. For those reasons. And if you're thinking of getting a trainer, understand why you're getting the trainer in the first place. Maybe you just want a buddy to work out with, which in that case, like I guess, go on a Facebook group or something and fucking contact someone,
Give
or
the
call a
trainer,
friend, dude.
please.
Give trainer. I just want friend. Like yeah, like understand why you're getting the trainer in the first place. If maybe you want to get better at a lift, then get the trainer. But if you're getting a trainer simply because you don't know what to do, I don't think that's a great idea because you can just go on Google and search up workouts to do to lose weight, and that's a great way to start. You don't need a trainer for that at all, and you don't even need any equipment for that at all whatsoever.
Mm.
So I think like most things in life, if you're gonna buy something, if you're gonna invest into something, understand why you're gonna buy something first. Understand why you're investing in that thing first, because then, at that point, you understand uh, the possible speed humps that you might come across on the journey. Through fitness. It's just at the end of the day, do your fucking research.
Yeah.
I don't know, like Alex said, don't know how many times we're gonna have to fucking say that, but here we are. So
Like, all right, to give my own testimonial, my own personal testimonial, personal anecdote, if you will, I've seen more progress in my body um, within this time while being locked down. Well, wasn't when I was still locked down. Working out in my room, doing the same bodyweight exercises 3 or 4 days a week. I've seen more progress in doing that for a year than 3 years of going to the gym. Not only because now I'm more knowledgeable, I knew what to do, I knew how to progress, I knew what to eat, I knew when to train, I knew what to do for cardio. compared to what I did in the gym for 3 years. Right, I was lifting weights. I was like obviously squatting, benching, shoulder pressing, and all that. But I've seen more physical development and growth for myself within this past year than I've seen in the past 3 years. And that is just because, one, I've become more knowledgeable, right? Like I said. So even then, like, you don't need fancy gym equipment, anything like that, or like protein, like all like the diets or anything like that. You don't need that just to grow and develop your body, right? All you need is really like just knowledge for yourself, what to do, discipline when it comes to eating, and just commitment, right? I've committed to doing very similar things for 1 year. I've gotten bored of it, so I tried to spice things up, and like now I'm got to a point where like I enjoy doing what I want to do, and I enjoy seeing the growth and development I have right now, even though it's just body weight. It's still a lot more than what I've seen my body do in the last like 3 years of like lifting actual weights. And that I think that for you as a person, just do your own research, figure out what you want to do, and just stick to it. And if it gets boring, find some way to like reinvent it. There's always some variation of the push-up, some variation of the squat, some variation of the pike push-up that you can do just to like give you something fresh. But as long as you remain consistent for a certain period of time, you will see growth and development. In addition to having a good diet, that's what.
Boom.
Yeah.
God, do we have to say anything else? God damn it.
No, like the progress photos on my phone say otherwise. Like they'll agree with me. I'm not gonna show them, right? That's my eyes only. But like the
Oh, damn.
oh
Gotta pay for
fuck it.
that.
Oh yeah, look at yeah no, like the progress photos on my phone in the same lighting would obviously show you like this is my testimonial to just being knowledgeable and committed to whatever you're doing. And if you want to just do running right for like a whole year, as long as you keep running and you get more knowledgeable about running and run more frequently and do different kinds of running exercises and things like that, whatever you want to do fitness wise, as long as you're knowledgeable and stay committed, eventually you will get the progress you want to see. And then that'll allow you to be stronger and develop into other ways of fitness or more challenging ways of fitness. And I think fitness should be something you enjoy, not something you dread.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's not to say to set unrealistic goals for
No, no,
yourself,
no, no, no. It's
obviously.
always about small incremental goals that you break over time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And like now is like the perfect time. Like if you're still in lockdown and you have like nothing to do and you're sick of masturbating, it's time to like it's time to obviously do something new. Like if it comes to working out 3 days a week, or if you're working out 1 day a week for an hour or 10 minutes, start off there. It's I don't know how many times I want to tell people like work out once 10 minutes for that week, and then maybe next week do it twice. It's really not hard. And if you have so much time on your hands, you might as well do it. Because if you're obviously bored, it's something for you to do. And,
Yeah.
it's like the best time to do it now if you're all indoors as well. Because what else do you have to do this year other than stay inside?
Goddamn. A little bit of a depressing
Yeah, I
note
know,
there,
right?
Alex. God.
Well, like, it's giving you
Holy
something to do, something to, like, look forward to. Like, I had online uni and I still worked out in my fucking room. It was, like, I didn't enjoy it as much, but, like, now that I have the ability to work out outside, I'm definitely enjoying it, that's for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, it's just requires a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of commitment and, like, discipline, and then you'll start seeing results. I promise you. Once again, I'm not a physical, like, therapist or anything, so but like it's my testimonial, and I hope that sort of like you can understand the idea that I'm trying to tell you and all that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Those are great testimonials to
I know,
stick by.
right?
Your photos, especially. I don't think your photos would disagree with you anyway.
No, well, like I don't
It,
know.
it is you.
I'm too shy to show them.
No, that's fair. You don't
It's on the
have.
hidden folder of my phone because I don't want anyone else seeing it.
Damn. Hidden. My God.
You should look at the hair growth as well.
Oh
I've
damn.
noticed the hair growth, but yeah.
That's how you know. That's how you know you're growing.
Yeah, when the hair grows, the body grows. Am I right, fellas? No, I'm just kidding.
Kind of true, guys. No.
Uh, but yeah, that's just something for whoever's listening to consider. I don't know. This has been a really random episode. We started off somewhere, and now we're just like, ooh. They're always like the
Yeah.
same message towards the end. Just like do your research. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think we should end it here.
Yeah, that's fair. Why
Yeah.
don't we?
But yeah, just closing remarks. Do your research as always.
Do your research, boys. Easy. Come on.
It's something for anyone to consider. Like obviously looking at fitness from different places and how whether or not they prioritize it, or whether or not they're able to do so just because of like the difference in socioeconomic status between like the population. If you're looking at different sample sizes and all that. But yeah, if anyone wants to write an essay on that, I think that'd be a cool topic to have, just because it's just something that I don't think anyone really talks about in that kind of way for like an academic essay, but nothing like research wise. Obviously, you have to live in both countries to have an idea, but yeah. Yeah, and then at the end of the day, it's just always about doing your own research and figuring out what you want to do for yourself. And I don't know how many times we can repeat that before it gets really stale, but yeah, as Benjo and I have said multiple times, do your fucking research.
Do your fucking research,
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Do your fucking research, dude.
Do
Nah,
your
but
fucking research.
that's all we can really say at this point. Like if you have so much time on your hands, it doesn't hurt to read a few articles, a few papers if you're really into that. There's plenty of papers out there in the world that are done by scientists, and a lot of meta-analyses, things like that you could read if you really want to, but I don't know why. If
Yeah.
not, there's videos of people reading meta-analyses and telling you the important facts about them. So even then, you could still have a reason to like look at them in
Yeah.
different medium. But yeah, any other closing thoughts, Benjo?
Yeah, in case you guys didn't realize, this isn't just a fitness podcast. This is a lifestyle
It's a
podcast. We help you out with your
lifestyle.
homework, help you out with your essay topics. We help you
Yeah,
out with
yeah.
fucking meta analyses. Come on, boys. Like and subscribe to this shit
Like and
right now.
subscribe, hit the bell notification. Also, if you have any questions, put them down in the comments or DM Benjo. And also look at Gym with Joe on Instagram. Hit him up.
Hey, come on.
Yeah.
Message this guy too. He's all about, profile pics and whatnot. He's got the photos. He's got
Yeah.
the goods.
I got the best lighting, bro. I got you, bro. I got you. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, aside from that, right now it's a very turbulent time, and I understand what it's like to binge eat, because I fucking binged eat so many times during the pandemic, and, well, it's still a pandemic. During the the lockdown and all that.
The Lucky D.
Lucky
That's
down,
new.
lucky D, pandemic and all that nonsense. But, yeah, even if, like, the outside world seems to be going to shit right now, you can still do some stuff for yourself and to help yourself feel somewhat
True.
better. And even then, like, it doesn't have to be like running. It doesn't have to be weightlifting. It doesn't have to be calisthenics. Whatever helps you feel, fit, or whatever fitness activity you want to do, just do it. You got plenty of time at your hands at this point. I have plenty of fucking time as well. Fuck. It's just so much time on my hands. But yeah, you sort of get to realize a lot of things you can actually do. And it's time I think, to build it up and like do fitness something long term, because who doesn't want to live until like 60 or 80? That'd be nice. So like,
Kind of nice.
yeah, I know, right? Who wants to die at 60, right? Or who wants to die at 40 or 50?
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah,
What the
yeah.
heck? Hello?
I don't know. It's nice to build good habits now and to have them like a long term kind of thing. Once again, I am not a PT or anything like that, but Benjo is, so trust his word more than mine.
Yes. No, wait. That's not. Don't say that. You're gonna get in trouble for some things.
But yeah, I think this episode's been a bit long, but we're just gonna end it here and say, like, thank you for listening, and we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Wet Gains, Wet Brains podcast. This is
See ya.
Benjamin Alex signing off. See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.